Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Lunch Hour, brought to you by Constant Collab, where we eat, sleep, and breathe finance, news, and everything in between. So if you like finance, news, or crypto, make sure to subscribe. There is a lot going on in the crypto market today, so like always, let's dive in. So we are going to start, like every single episode, by looking at the overall crypto market. Right now, the cryptocurrency market is sitting at $2.29 trillion. The overall volume is sitting pretty low, currently at around $85 billion, $85.6 billion to be exact. Bitcoin dominance has ticked down. It continues to move down very, very, very slowly, currently sitting at 40.4%, and Ethereum is hovering around 20.8%. As previously stated, we are sitting at $2.3 trillion. We are up 1.5% for the day. Bitcoin currently sitting at 48,918. It is pretty much flat for the day. Yesterday, it went up roughly $1,500. Finally positive for the 7-day period, almost 4%. So moving in the right direction. Ethereum currently sitting at 3,995, flat for the day. However, it is up 7.34% for the 7-day period. Solana's up 2%, almost 10% for the 7-day period. XRP has made big moves in the past couple of days, currently sitting at around 95 cents, up almost 5% for the day. 20.63% for the 7-day period. So XRP definitely one of the big movers in the last week. Hopefully we do get some big news here in the next couple days. I'm very hopeful that price action foretells, big news. So that's what I'm hoping this is foretelling. I don't know if anything is gonna come out before the end of the year. I mean, we only have 9 days left to the end of the year, so we'll see. And then Terra has been making big moves also, up 57% for the 7-day period, up 2% for the 24-hour, currently sitting at $88. Polkadot up 11% for the 7-day period, also making big moves. But let's dive into the news. El Salvador President buys an additional 21 Bitcoin. They've been buying the dip, but this was more in like celebrating an occasion and stuff like that. So El Salvador, the first country to legalize Bitcoin as optional legal tender, has bought an additional 21% on 21. So yeah, President Nayib Bukele started a Twitter quote thread of sorts, where he first talked about El Salvador's entire area. It's about 21,000 square kilometers, referring to the 21 million supply of Bitcoin. He later said that they would make the BTC purchase of exactly 21. So again, this was just in honor of an occasion. So they weren't actually buying the dip, and we are buying 21 Bitcoin for the occasion. So they're just buying more Bitcoin at the end of the day. But moving right along, Bitcoin enters accumulation state according to on-chain data. So according to the volume of the illiquid supply on the chain, Bitcoin has exited the capitulation state, and now wallets are sending their funds to entities that prefer being inactive rather than constantly making numerous transactions during the day. The indicator also suggests that the 8-month accumulation distribution period during which Bitcoin reached its previous all-time high was over at the end of May. Back in June, capitulation rates increased and peaked closer to September, after which had another pump to 65,000. So right here, Glassnode put out a tweet saying Bitcoin supply is moving from liquid to illiquid state at a rate of about 100,000 BTC per month. Illiquid coins are those sent to an address with little history of spending, generally associated with investors' accumulation and bull market buys. So, yeah, I mean, the article continues to say, that they're moving 100,000 transactions per month, but does the indicator reflect the price action? With an indicator showing entry into the accumulation zone, traders might expect the appropriate price action. According to the Bitcoin USD trading pair, the correlation is in fact being confirmed, with Bitcoin gaining 6.5% in the last week. Yeah, and I mean, those are definitely moves that are being seen in the crypto price, in the Bitcoin price. Again, in the last 24 hours, the price of Bitcoin has gained roughly $1,500. So let me see, the 1 day we went, this is a 24-hour period. So we were sitting at 48.4. Let me go a little further back. This is the 1 week. We went as low as 45.6 in the 1 week period, and now we're currently sitting at 49. So it's gained $3,000, the spot price of Bitcoin in the last 7 days. So it's definitely moving in the right direction, and the on-chain data shows why this is happening. So hopefully the price continues, and yeah, but only time will tell. Bitcoin will replace the US dollar, according to Jack Dorsey. I don't know about all that. I think that's big time speculation. When American rapper and songwriter Cardi B asked on Twitter if crypto is going to replace the dollar, it was none other than former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey who replied in affirmative. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Block, formerly known as Square, has been a strong proponent of the flagship cryptocurrency since 2018. He had earlier asserted that Bitcoin will unite a deeply divided country. The exec has once again declared his passion for Bitcoin. So Cardi B again put out on Twitter, do you think crypto is going to replace the dollar? And Jack Dorsey says, yes, Bitcoin. He specifically said Bitcoin will. I don't know if that's really going to happen. I mean, the U.S. government has a lot of power, and I think that they will ban Bitcoin before that happened. I mean, the Fed has said that they have no intentions of banning Bitcoin, and they see utility in blockchain and stable coins, actually. So as of right now, that's not happening, but I don't think that Bitcoin will replace the US dollar. I think that eventually it could be used as reserve currency. You know, reserve banks could hold it as a reserve, but I don't see it replacing the US dollar. Again, the US government has way too much power, and they aren't just going to throw their hands up and say, okay, guys, yeah, Bitcoin is going to be legal tender and it will replace the US dollar. I just don't see Congress doing that. Not anytime soon, maybe 200-300 years from now. But at which point, who's to say that Bitcoin is going to exist, or the US or the United States will exist at that point? Nobody knows. That's way too far into the future. But right now in our lifetime, I don't see Bitcoin replacing the US dollar. I just can't fathom that to happen. So yeah, moving right along. Michael Saylor plans to actually use MicroStrategy's 6 billion Bitcoin stash. I mean, that's to be expected. I don't think that he's just going to have his Bitcoin sitting in an account doing nothing. 2 decades ago, MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor was embroiled in fraud charges and settling U.S. Security and Exchange Commission investigation into cooking his company's books. Now he is a Bitcoin celebrity. Saylor wants to yield his 70% voting power to reapothecate Bitcoin, the Bitcoin that MicroStrategy shareholders think they own. MicroStrategy owns roughly 122,478 Bitcoin, value at roughly $6 billion. Saylor acquired most of his Bitcoin by selling junk-rated bonds. He funnels cash from MicroStrategy's legacy software business to fund even more purchases and regularly applies for additional debt. MicroStrategy wants to put its Bitcoin to work. If Saylor reapothecates to generate a yield, it will be his first use of MicroStrategy's Bitcoin for any business purpose. He previously said that the company simply holds Bitcoin to hedge against inflation, as well as for speculation. Opportunities for yield generation could include using it as collateral for mortgages, long-term debt notes or lending it to a yield-generating counterparty, Saylor said during a routine investor call with shareholders last week. I mean, there's definitely a lot of utility that he can use his Bitcoin for. I mean, he can definitely stake it, get a return, without really putting his own Bitcoin at risk. So there's definitely a lot that they can do, but again, he will have to put that up for a vote. And I mean, I guess he has 70% voting power, so it pretty much what he says goes. So personally, I think that's a smart move. I'm not one to have my crypto just sitting there doing nothing. I like to stake it. I like to put it in liquidity pools so I can get a yield from it. I mean, and that's, he owns $6 billion worth of it, so why not? I think that's a smart move. I think that's the right thing to do. So in my opinion, I think that's smart, and hopefully shareholders could see that. But moving right along, Opera to integrate with Polygon, opening dApp ecosystem to 80 million users. On Wednesday, Opera, an internet web browser with Web 3.0 application support and a built-in crypto wallet, announced an upcoming integration with Polygon. The integration, which is scheduled to go live in the first quarter of 2022, will first open Polygon's ecosystem to Opera's over 80 million users on the Android mobile, then the rest of other devices and platforms. Polygon is a layer 2 Ethereum scaling solution designed for lower gas fees and faster transaction times. Through the integration, Opera users will be able to access Polygon decentralized applications or dApps such as SushiSwap, Curve, and Aave, as well as blockchain games and non-fungible tokens platforms such as Decentraland, OpenSea, and Sandbox. That's great. I mean, I think that the more chains Opera integrates on the web browser, the more utility and the happier, the crypto community will be. And those that haven't been in crypto yet, at the end of the day, interoperability and bringing more chains into one localized place will determine who survives and who dies in this ecosystem. Right now, the blockchain is way too fragmented. And right now, this is a conversation that I was having yesterday. We have almost 16,000 cryptocurrencies. A lot of them will die. And again, those that cryptos and platforms that allow for different chains to operate on them, I think those are the ones that have a future in this ecosystem. And obviously, Opera is looking to do that. And again, the more chains they integrate into one place, the more use their platform will get. But moving right along, Robert Kiyosaki market crash has already happened as we're in a technical depression. So if you guys remember last week, I talked about an article where Robert Kiyosaki was saying that we're going into a depression. He's ready, to buy more real estate, more Bitcoin, just to be careful. So he was just putting it out there as an announcement. And now he's saying that a depression has already happened, a technical depression. But I don't know how that's the case where the S&P and the NASDAQ and Dow are trading, in all-time high territories. So I don't know how we can be in a technical depression. Now, if we're talking about if we were in a 30% correction in those, indices, then I would be like, okay, maybe he's right. But they're still trading in all-time high territory. So what exactly are you telling us? But let's dive into the article. Businessman and author of the personal finance book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, has stated that the market is already in a technical depression based on differences between inflation and economic growth figures. Speaking to Stansberry Research, Kiyosaki indicated that the depression is also an indicator that his earlier projected market crash has already occurred. This is what I was talking about earlier. He acknowledged that the crash was characterized by the rising inflation figures despite assurance from the Federal Reserve that the economy is performing better. However, the author cautioned that there is still a widespread concern despite the stock market appearing to perform better. Again, those numbers really don't reflect. Granted, inflation is higher than everybody expected, and it's probably going to go higher. But right now, that really doesn't show. And a lot of people are moving money into the stock market, and the stock market is running extremely hot right now because you really don't want to keep your money in dollars because you're losing to inflation. And there's really no other assets to go into because the interest rate is so low, so people can't buy treasuries. So I really don't know. I mean, to me, a depression, we're talking about, a crash in the stock market, housing and real estate is, extremely down. Nobody's buying houses. So right now, I just don't see it. Could it happen? Yes, sure. Right now, I don't see it. And I think that he just said this to cover his ass. So if a depression does happen, he's right. And if it doesn't happen, he's technically right. No pun intended, But anyways, let's move along. I'm not going to dive too much into this article. Long story short, Justin Sung, he founded TRON. He bid to go to space through Virgin Galactic. The full bid amount was $28 million. Oh, Blue Origin. So he's going into space. Long story short. I don't know if I would have spent $28 million to go to space. He did it. He has the money. That's that. Bank of Russia sees no place for crypto in finance market. Finalizes digital ruble prototype. You guys know, Russia is pretty hard when it comes to cryptocurrencies. But the Bank of Russia to issue report on cryptocurrency. Known for maintaining a hardline stance on the question of legalizing cryptocurrencies, the Central Bank of Russia is now preparing a report that will provide its view on the matter in detail. The regulator intends to push for adopting rules to govern the circulation of digital assets through legislative changes. Deputy Chairman Vladimir Chijutskin revealed in a comment to Russian media. I think that we'll resolve this issue through amendments to the legislation. There will be a more precise definition of how cryptocurrencies can be traded, he says, speaking to reporters in the State Duma, the lower house of parliament. The official noted that Russian citizens and businesses have the right to purchase and keep cryptocurrency, but not through the country's financial infrastructures and intermediaries. He made the remark in response to questions of whether the CBR advocates for banning transfer to crypto exchanges from accounts held by Russian citizens. So apparently, they do think that their citizens and businesses have the right to invest in cryptocurrencies, which is definitely a positive thing. But, in time, they are going to put out legislation on what clearly can happen with cryptocurrencies in the country. So, again, they're taking their time and they are going to put it out eventually. Elon Musk labels Metaverse a buzzword. Says Neuralink is better. Elon Musk, the world's richest man and CEO of electric car manufacturer Tesla, has recently voiced his lack of support for the ongoing campaign for the Metaverse and Web3 ecosystems. Speaking in a recent interview with Babylon Bee, Musk noted that Web3 and Metaverse trends are becoming a widespread, but he's not buying into the idea. I don't know if I necessarily buy into the Metaverse stuff, although people talk about it a lot. Although people talk to me about it a lot. I am currently unable to see a compelling Metaverse situation, or Web3 sounds more like marketing than reality. I don't get it, and maybe I will, but I don't get it yet, he said. And then he goes on to say that his company Neuralink is better than the Metaverse. And granted, he's putting technology out where people can plug stuff to their brain and I guess go into a Metaverse. I guess that's a lot more submersive than putting VR goggles on, but granted, this is not released yet, and the Metaverse is brand new in the grand scheme of things, especially what we're talking about right here. So he's just saying that his company Neuralink will be able to submerge people more when it comes to the Metaverse. In the long term, a sophisticated Neuralink could put you fully into a virtual reality. I think we're far from disappearing into the metaverse. This sounds just kind of a buzzword. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, sure. And then he goes on to say that Web3 is another centralized entity. His statement comes just a day after Twitter former CEO Jack Dorsey stated that Web3 could not escape the influence of venture capitalists in their limited partners. He noted that the technology is just another centralized entity with a different label. The tweet sparked a massive debate with Elon Musk also joining, jokingly asking, has anyone seen Web3? I can't find it. And I think that's stupid. That's a dumb way to think about, Web3. Sure. I mean, at the end of the day, large companies will have a bigger stake than anybody else when it comes to Web3. But unlike Google, that solely Google owns their search engine, Web3 can be owned by, regular people. At the end of the day, sure, I'm not a billionaire. I cannot put $1 billion into developing my own Web3. But guess what? I can buy Ethereum or Solana or any other layer 1 infrastructure where companies are building on. And guess what? Whether it's $100 or $1 million, I still own a piece of Web3. So yeah, at the end of the day, the world will always be run by the top 5%. That's the end of story. But what am I supposed to do? What are people supposed to do? Put their hands in their pocket and just be like, okay, let the elites run the internet. I'm not going to invest and try to grow my wealth because it's centralized. And like, really, that's dumb. That's extremely dumb. So yeah, is it centralized? Sure, granted, 100%. But like I said, I can put $100 on Ethereum or AVAX or Solana or Cardano, and I can own a piece of that Web3. And as the Web3 grows in value, so does my sharing in the ecosystem. So to be like, oh yeah, only a few people control it. Okay, a few people control the world. The world. Okay, like get the out of here with that BS, man. Like, don't give me that crap. Anyways, let's move on. Ubisoft NFT efforts are off to a rocky start. So a couple of weeks ago, I talked about Ubisoft launching their NFT on the Tesla's blockchain. So they released their very first game. There's NFT compatible. Ubisoft, much hype in-game NFT system, which launched earlier this month on the Tesla's blockchain alongside Ghost Recon Breakpoint, hasn't cut the interest of gamers. So right here, these NFTs can only be sold between players of the specific Ghost Recon game and are only usable in said game. Thus, if the popularity of the game is effectively the market maker of the NFT themselves, Breakpoint doesn't appear to be the best review entry for the Ghost Recon franchise, with mediocre review scores from the gaming press. So that's one issue that I spot right away. So you can only trade with players of the game. You can only trade your NFT with players of the game, which is really crappy. Again, the broader the ecosystem, the more people are going to want to hop on it. So if they can integrate something where you can sell it on OpenSea, that would bring a lot more people to the ecosystem. And I guess that I haven't played Ghost Recon in a long time, actually. But I guess the game overall is not doing very well. But I actually opened an account, and these are NFTs. You could have claimed them. So I guess this weapon, this mask, and the pants, you could have claimed them for free if you play the game or downloaded the game. I actually think the idea is really cool. And I think that eventually we are going to get to a place where it's the norm for games. But until companies like Microsoft or Sony or Steam, until they open their ecosystem to NFTs, I don't think they are going to gain a lot of traction. Because right now, to play Ghost Recon, the one that's NFT capable, you have to have an account on Ubisoft Quartz. and you have to download the game to a PC. PC is the only place where it's compatible. So again, until it's on Xbox or the PlayStation ecosystem, I don't think that they're going to create or to have a lot of traction. I mean, however, I do think, with that being said, I do think that this is the future, where you are able to gain, get like nice pens depending on your level of prestige, or masks or weapons, and then sell them on the store or the marketplace. But that won't happen until Xbox and PlayStation open their PlayStation stores to people that have accounts that they want to sell their NFTs on that ecosystem. Right now, it's too fragmented and it's not going to gain a lot of traction. But I think that at the end of the day, this is the future. Being able to find cool weapons and masks and be able to sell that on the secondary market. That's the epitome of play to earn, in my opinion. Like games like this, because right now, I'm not a huge fan of Decentraland and Sand. Both of them have gone very Minecraft when it comes to the graphics and stuff like that. I like games like this. This is where gaming is supposed to be. And these are the games that I like to play. So eventually we are going to get to a place where these type of NFTs have gained more traction. So it's a matter of time. I'm really not very upset that gamers and whatnot are not very happy about it. But Ubisoft's decision to push for in-game NFT hasn't been popular among its developers. The trade union representing the company's Paris-based employees denounced the pivot to NFTs in a statement published earlier this week. Ubisoft has recently entered the blockchain and non-fungible tokens market, a decision that has been widely criticized by our players, bringing no improvement or benefits to our games. The statement reads. I disagree. Again, it's a matter of time where we get to a point where people are able to gamers are able to make good money selling their NFTs. Like if I'm a beginner, let's use this Ghost Recon game as an example. I'm a beginner just joining in, and then somebody that's, prestige level 3, they're selling a weapon that they found or that they got rewarded on the secondary NFT marketplace. And as a beginner, I'm able to go in and purchase that weapon, and then my character right away has it. I don't have to wait, to get to level whatever 25, 50 to get something like that and upgrade like that. I could get it right away because I purchased it from a secondary player. Like that's a market. But again, I don't think this is going to gain traction until Microsoft and Sony open their ecosystem to players. But it's a matter of time. Moving on, Argentina Central Bank taking action against crypto Ponzi schemes. There's really not much to say about this. Like every other country, they want to protect investors. So the financial and foreign exchange entities, they're looking into Ponzi schemes to try to prevent that from happening in their country. And then the last one, this is an article that I wanted to cover. Top 5 crypto legal and regulatory developments in 2021. So I'm just gonna go over it. Not gonna dive too much into it because these are stuff that happened in 2021. And if you've been involved in crypto, you should have heard of some of them. I know that I've covered all of them in this show. So let me just briefly go through it. So here's a top 5 list of 2021. It has some caveats attached. For one, the blockchain space has so many dimensions, some implicating finance and many that do not. The use cases of this ledger technology expand each year, constrained only by human ingenuity. This is so true. You guys know El Salvador adopts Bitcoin as a national currency. That happened in Q3 of this year. I actually talked about El Salvador at the beginning of the show. They keep buying the Bitcoin dip. So that's number one. And then the United States woke legislation on blockchain transaction. Like how they use woke in quotes. In November, Congress finally passed the Biden administration $1.2 trillion infrastructure legislation. At least the piece of the proposed legislation that actually was directed at building and rebuilding our bridges, roads, rails, and telecommunication. As part of the bill, formerly called the Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Act, there is an amendment to Section 6045 of the tax code, which requires the reporting of citizens engaged in securities transactions with an overly broad definition of brokers. That is something that is part of the bill. A lot of people in the crypto community has voiced their concerns when it comes to this legislation. Miners and solvers development are included in the definition of brokers. This doesn't go into effect until 2023. I do think that it's going to be fixed prior to that. It's just a matter of time. But that is number 2 when it comes to regulations passed in this year. And then the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is open to the benefits of blockchain for the financial system. He has said it multiple times. The Federal Reserve has no intentions of banning cryptocurrencies. He does see the potential for blockchain technology and its use in the financial system. So that is number 3 on the list. Number 4 is the SEC allows Bitcoin ETF for retail customers. They are yet to launch a spot Bitcoin ETF. This article refers to the futures, the futures ETF that was approved by the SEC. We are still waiting for a spot ETF. A lot of people don't think that it's going to happen until Q3, Q4 of next year. Just a matter of time. We shall wait. As this article said at the very beginning, this is a rapidly evolving ecosystem. So it's just a matter of time. We're hoping that 2022 brings a Bitcoin spot ETF. And the last one, Ripple fights with the SEC. I mean, the SEC is fighting with everybody left and right when it comes to the cryptocurrency market. But right now, yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of when the SEC filed their lawsuit against Ripple and the XRP community, claiming that Ripple sold unregistered securities to investors, claiming that XRP is a security. So we're still waiting on a decision when it comes to that. The expert discovery should be done by January 16th of next year. We think that this lawsuit is going to come to an end by March, April, May of next year. Hopefully, the sooner the better. We are looking for a settlement between Ripple and the SEC. But this is still going on, and unfortunately, it hasn't come to an end. But these are the top 5 regulatory development of 2021 when it comes to cryptocurrencies, according to Cointelegraph. With that being said, guys, that is all we have for the show today. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. We are still giving away an NFT. It's one of 998. They continue to get burned, and as they get burned, the more value it gets. So, like I said, all you have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then we'll announce the winner. But again, we appreciate everybody tuning in and everybody liking the video. We truly appreciate it. But with that being said, like I said, that is all that we have for today. We'll see you guys on the next one.